tuning to the Vibing with Don Vito show. I'm your host, Don Vito, and I appreciate, you checking out my show this afternoon at 2 p.m. We got another exciting guest coming on today. He goes by the name of Amir Williams. Amir Williams is he used to be on television. He was on All My Children. He was on A Different World, different shows, like that. And he has an amazing story. He's an author now. He's a playwright. He's doing things like that. But before he comes on the show, I want to say how y'all doing out there. How y'all holding up, with the COVID. Is everybody keeping safe? We always got to touch on that before the show starts. Y'all stay safe and, y'all stay aware of what's going on. There's a lot of funny business going on out here. Be careful. Also, we must pay attention to what's going on out here with the politics. We all have to vote. If you didn't vote the last previous years, you need to vote this year. You have to vote. I don't know who you're going to vote for. Democrat, Republican, whatever the case may be. But you need to vote. So right now, we got my man Amir Williams get ready to come on the show. I see you just pull up. What up, Chad? How you feeling? And we're gonna talk about it. This guy has an amazing story. But before he comes on, y'all don't forget to vote. Voting is very important. And we all gotta, do our part. We gotta get that man out of the White House. He's a hell of a dude. And he's a hell of a snake. And enough is enough. I don't know how you feel about Biden and, the lady that's running with him, but at the end of the day, anybody's better than Trump. Anybody can beat Trump. Trump is crazy. He did a lot of crazy stuff since he's been president, and we ain't got time for another 4 years of that. We get another 4 years of that, we don't know what's going to happen out here at all. But I'm a Lakers fan, y'all, so let's go Lakers. Got my man Amir pulling up. That's it. Let's go Lakers. Lakers going to take it all. Believe me when I tell you. Bet your money on the Lakers.
What's good, brother? Can you hear me?
Try to stay right there.
Okay.
Stay right there. So what's good, Chan? How you been, man?
I'm chilling, man. Trying to keep as busy as possible in the midst of this pandemic, man. It's
Right.
trying to keep yourself going.
All right. So what you been doing, man, since for the New Year's, man? I mean, the year that 2020. What's been going on with you?
Just developing new projects, man. Just writing. That's always been my passion and stuff like that. And so I try to keep that going.
Right.
Working on a bunch of new projects, raising the children. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How many children you got?
3. Got 3
Okay.
children. Yeah.
All right. So when did you pick up the writing skills?
I started writing early in my life. I started writing probably about 11. Mm-hmm. And short stories, stuff like that. And then I took it more seriously as I got into high school, and with the writing teachers and stuff like that, they helped me to build my skills even more. But I always knew I wanted to write, and so I probably started taking it seriously in my 20s. And we talked last time we did the show, and that's why I did my first serious writing. And
are we going to touch on that a little bit so people, because it's all about the stories.
Yeah, no doubt.
And we ain't got to get heavy into it, but at the end of the day, it's the journey that you live for your life, because it turned you and made you the man you are today.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So some things that we did when we was younger, whether it was good, whether it was bad, it made us the men we are today.
That's a fact.
You never be ashamed of your story, whether it's positive or it's negative, because look how you turned out,
Nah, no doubt.
So we got people tuning in right now, so tell us.
Well, I think you paused a little bit. You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good. Tell everybody where you from.
Oh, okay, yeah. So everybody, I'm from Harlem. I'm born 114, St. Luke's. Uptown Washington Heights, 181st. Shout to Wash Heights, shout to 181st, man. Shout to 188th, Cabrini, Shout to Fort Wash, shout
Oh,
to
you was
River.
over there?
You already know, man.
What year you was over there?
Let's see. Before when I was about between like 3 and 6, I was on 188th and Wadsworth, and then from
Wow.
years old to 18, I was on 181st and Haven,
Okay.
all the way down the hill. So all Cabrini, Fort Washington, all that. That's me.
That's my
Yeah.
hood a little bit too.
Oh,
I
okay.
used to live on 180th Fort Washington,
Got you. I know exactly where it's
right by
at.
the A train, right there.
Yeah, that was my train. That's what I took to school every day.
Yeah, that was my train too, man.
No doubt.
And up the block, Fort Tryon Parks, play ball and all that up the hill.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Used to go to
Yeah.
camp. Yeah. Used to be a camp counselor. We used that park. Yeah, man.
A lot of history back there.
No doubt.
So let me ask you a question. So how was life growing up as a kid, man? Coming up.
Oh man, I mean, there was a lot. Like we touched on this, but everybody that's tuning in that doesn't know me, I started my acting career when I was 2 years old. My mother was a Broadway actress, and so she danced and sang on Broadway. She started dancing when she was really young, as a teenager. Started touring with Alvin Ailey and dancing for famous people and stuff like that. And so when she had me, I used to be backstage with her. I used to be traveling with her, and I started my career in 2 years old in commercials.
Wow.
When I was 6 years old, I got my first big show, which was A Different World. Those of you that watched A Different World, on the first season, Loretta Devine was the camp counselor there, and I played her son JT. So that was, big thing. Moved out to LA for a long time, filmed it there. And, got to where everybody was there at that time, Kadeem Hardison, Marissa Tomei, Lisa Bonet, all of those people. So I worked with them. Bill Cosby was on deck, because he was executive producer. So he would be around. And, so it was a very exciting time. And, I came back. When I came back home, I continued to work doing plays, doing commercials and things like that. And then I got my next big break when I was about 11. I got my first movie. Called Daybreak. That was with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Omar Epps. That's actually you can still find it on HBO. It's one of the on-demand movies you can find. It's called Daybreak from 1990. About a year later, when I was 12, I got a role on My Children, and I stayed there for a number of years. I got to do many more things. I got to do some plays, some operas on stage. I was on New York Undercover a couple of times, Law and Order, and a cartoon show called Daria on MTV.
Okay.
Character Mac McKenzie for the last couple of years. So I had a great career. I got a chance to work with a lot of people, see a lot of things, and it was interesting. It was definitely interesting.
Okay. So I see you riding good, man. You gotta let them checks still coming in, huh?
Oh no. Every so often you get something, but
Yeah.
So I'm still out here working, man. This time now I'm working on the writing side. That's all.
Yeah. So let's go into your story just a little bit. So at some point it all came to a cease for a minute, right?
Yeah. When I was I would say I probably stopped when I was about 18. When I was about 18 years old, I stopped and I kind of started focusing on the spiritual aspect of my life and started going into that direction. Bible and my life really became about that. And with that, I made the decision to leave the business for a more quieter life, more spiritual life, stuff like that. And with that decision, I mean, to be quite honest, I never really considered doing anything else because this was how I came up. My mother did this, my father did modeling and different things like that, and I did what I did. So that was going to be the career path. So I never made any other choices. I didn't choose college. I didn't choose to enter another industry. So I just ended up taking regular jobs and things like that. And, as you can imagine, being raised in the world that I was raised in from 2 years old, limos and flying around, you skipping school and stuff. And then in your adulthood, you work as a security guard, you work as that.
Yeah.
be a bit of a change for you. You know what I'm saying? And so you know, to put it quite frankly, I didn't take that change well.
All right, okay.
So I got in a little trouble, as you
Right.
know. Um,
So what happened? It's
well,
a
I ended up
learning experience, man. It's
yeah,
a
I
learning
robbed the bank.
experience to let people know that things can happen and you still can come back. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I robbed the bank, and I got locked up for that, and it took a while for me to go to prison, because I was fighting the case and you know, trying to get, you know, a better deal, because initially this happened in New Jersey,
You
and
robbed one bank
yeah, at the time, yeah,
and you
and I
got
was
caught like you got caught that quick?
yeah, I mean, actually, what happened was they must have made a signal or something that I didn't see when I left,
Oh, okay.
but outside waiting for me, and so I ran on them and got holed up in a building. They called SWAT dogs, and you
Wow.
know, while it was a wrap, you know what I mean?
So let me ask you
So
a question. So before you robbed the bank, did you check the bank out and see what was going on? Plot on it for a few days, just ran in the bank.
yeah, nah, I looked at a couple of different joints. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, looked like something, you know, something sweet, something low key, you know, not a lot of security, that kind of thing.
Right.
And but you know, it just went left. That's all.
So what made you think? So things got a little rough, right? What made you say, "I'm gonna rob a bank"? Why you ain't go sell no drugs or do something? Why rob a bank?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, even a lot of the dudes I was locked up with asked me that question, and I think probably the most direct answer was, you know, my influences. I didn't have those kind of influences around me. I mean, my parents, they kept me out of the street. I was busy working. You know what I mean? I went to school, worked. So, you know, I didn't hang out. I wasn't in the neighborhood like that. I didn't have really at that time, at that period, I didn't have really ties to that. And,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it wasn't more so that, um, it was just my nature. I mean, just the direct nature of how I think. I felt like, you know, that's where the money is. You
Right,
go,
right.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. I'm gonna go where the money at.
It was that simple. You know
I
what I
got
mean?
you. I got you.
But you know, I mean, I guess you could chalk that up to, you know, a lack of experience and you know, and being younger, and but that's just my nature, man. Like you know, so that's what I chose to do, and
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, wrong. You know, for a number of years, I was fighting. The offer was 17 years.
Wow.
So you know, you can imagine. And then later on, I got locked up again for a
Mm-hmm.
conspiracy to a bunch of robberies. Fortunately, that charge got thrown out. But at
Okay.
that, facing 40 years, I was facing 20 for my personal charge and 20 years for the conspiracy. So you know, it was a stressful time. You know what I'm saying? And then in the midst of that time, I started hustling. And you know, because you know, you know, I needed the bread. I was, you know, I knew I was probably going away, so you know, I
Yeah.
was making moves and stuff like that. And so it was a very stressful time, and I ended up eventually going away at 25.
Right.
I took a plea for 9 years, and in New Jersey, where I got locked up at New Jersey. A bank robbery like that involving a gun is, of course, considered a violent crime. So
Right.
I was 85% of my time. And
Mm-hmm.
so I took 9 with an 85, and the judge came down on 8.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you know, so in the end of what was it? The end of the beginning of 2007, March of 2007, I went away.
Right. So how did your moms and your pops feel about that? You know, they raised you to be, you know, got into the film business and stuff like that. And I know they was like, wow, what the hell happened to my boy?
Yeah, I mean, I know it was a shock to pretty much everybody. I mean, the thing about it was the case went on the news 12 immediately, so I didn't even know
Mm-hmm.
how big it was until a few days later. One of the CEOs in the county brought me the newspaper, and I was on the front of the newspaper with the SWAT. So
Wow.
a big picture, you know, of me and the SWAT got hold of me. And so at that point, I really understood how big it was. But it had hit News 12. Family from down south was calling up. My mother, from what I heard, got the call in the supermarket. You know what I'm saying? So it was a shock to everybody. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people that, even people that know me, only very few people that know me would know I was capable of something like that. Most
Right.
people think that, you know what I mean? But that's, you know, I'm sure you understand that's how it be sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand. I understand. I understand. That's why I'm just saying, like, everybody got some type of a story, man. Whether it went that way or it could be something that happened in society. But everybody got some type of a story, man, and that made them into the person they are today. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But you know, it's all about delivering the message to people. You know, because you up don't mean you can't come down, and
no
because you
doubt,
down don't mean you can't come up.
no doubt.
But look at you now. You know.
No
So
doubt.
so you did how much time you did?
I did 7 years.
7.
Yeah, yeah. So
Was
I came.
you was in a max or medium?
Well, it was considered the way they got it. When I first went in, I was in the county,
Right.
in New Jersey. So I was in Hackensack, and consequently, it's funny because a month after I came March of 2007, and April of 2007, Max B came in that same jail,
Oh,
for his, and he was upstairs in Supermax. Mine was considered, it was a violent crime, but the way it went ended up playing out, I just got straight robbery when it was all done.
right.
So you know, I was able to move around. I was able to get jobs after a while, but it was still restricted though. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It was no contact visits, and at the time, my daughter was 15 months, so that was really tough.
Right.
Uh, seeing her through glass and all that kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until I actually got sent to the state that I was able to have a little more freedom and do some things. But yeah, it was rough, man.
Yeah. So when you were away, did you start writing and stuff like that in there?
Yeah, almost immediately I started. I mean, I think it was an opportunity for me to do what I wanted to do, and then until that time, I hadn't really found the opportunity to really write or know that I wanted to focus on that. And with this time being alone, because the way our situation was set up in New Jersey, I was in Yarville prison for the
Mm-hmm.
first 5 years of my bid,
Where's
and
that? Where that's at?
that's close to Trenton in
Okay.
New.
Okay.
So the way the situation was set up, it was like 22 hours lockdown. You get 1 hour rec, which is your phone, cooking, and shower and all that, and then 1 hour outside rec. So a lot of the time was spent in the cell
Mm-hmm.
until I went to school or something like that. But in me being my first year, I didn't go anywhere really for my first year. So that was the situation, and so almost immediately I started writing, and I started. The funny thing was I found about the first month I was in there was a book, a collection of Edgar Allan Poe's short stories. And
Right.
from me, that book, I said, you know what? I'm going to write a collection of short stories. And so that was my first project. And that's what
Right.
kicked. And then later on, I started doing other things. I started writing my first novel, Flame of Retribution, which we talked about last time. And I wrote a show. I wrote a number of different projects over the course of my time in.
Okay. So when did you come home?
I came home December of 2013.
Okay. So when you came home, so how did you feel when you came home? What did you do?
I mean, I was definitely changed. I mean, there was a period where I was able to go to the halfway house after about 5 years. I went to the camps, and then I was able to go to the halfway house. Unfortunately, I got sent back after a little while, but I did go to the halfway house for a little bit. And one of the first things I realized was after being locked down, you be on the tier, you be with your bunkie, and so you get used to that life. And for the first time in 5 years, I was on the street. And for the first time, I realized that crowds made me nervous. Seeing all of
Right.
the people on the street made me nervous. And, initially when I first got out and, got a job and stuff. So I had to readjust to that. The phones was a new
Right.
thing because I went away the top of 2007. So smartphones weren't popping like that yet.
Right.
Facebook, that stuff wasn't popping yet. So when I first got my hand on the phone, which was the reason I got sent back because I got a phone. So I got caught with a phone. But all of that stuff was new. So life had changed, life that, moved on, and I had to get adjusted to that. You know what I mean? But so when I actually
Yeah.
came home, it still took me a minute to like kind of, find out how things were been and, how I was feeling. And, my daughter was about to turn 8, so we had to rebuild our relationship. And You know what I'm saying? All that stuff was that was trying, but you know, then it was time to look for work, and of course, you can imagine how challenging that is with a felony like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so it took me. It was years I couldn't find work. So that was one of the reasons that I turned my attention back to my writing and decided to focus on that. And it's funny because I could tell through that I had matured. You know what I'm saying? The time away had helped me to mature because if I had been in that situation, being unemployed that long in my 20s, it would have been something else. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Uh-huh.
Able to show patience now. Because what I went through, the maturity was there. So, you know, it
Yes.
did, and not the system per se, but the time alone and
Mm-hmm.
redirect and focus on yourself was what helped. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
they can't rehabilitate you. You can only rehabilitate yourself. That's my
Exactly.
on that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question. So when you came home, you didn't think about going back into acting or nothing like that?
And that's a good question. I mean, I did think about it. I did think about it. The thing about acting is it's a funny business. Um, you know, it's a funny business because there are trends in the business, um, especially for, which is one of the reasons why I left, um, especially for people of color.
Right.
You know, the jobs are not always available. And if they're available, they can be scarce. So there's a lot of us fighting for a few jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take a break from the business like I did and you don't stay plugged in, then it's almost like starting over,
Right.
you know, and
Mm-hmm.
because your contacts may change, you know what I mean? People that know you, they don't know you anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a
Yeah.
lot. So it's not as simple as, I'm back. You know, I mean, I'm sure you even understand that works anywhere on the street.
And
That
yes, 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 yes.
you can't take a 5-10 year break and then get right back to where you was. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to consider that, But at that point, I think I really fallen in love with writing to the point where I wanted to be behind the scenes more,
Mm-hmm.
focus on getting in that way.
All right. So how many books have you published so far?
Well, my first book, Flame of Retribution, was published in 2017, and that's a novel. That novel is based on the shooting of Sean Bell. Many of y'all might remember in 2006, Sean Bell was killed the night before his wedding. And that case, I took a shine to that case because I was close to his age at the time, and I got married young too. So I saw myself in him, and I was like, "Dag, I want to do something to kind of honor him." And then his widow Nicole, the way she kept his name alive, and so many years later, I admired that, and I said, "I want to build a character around her." So that's what I did. I made a character that what happens to this character is that when her husband is killed the night of their wedding, she becomes a vigilante and starts killing police. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, I started writing that novel in 2008, a year after I got locked up,
Right.
because
Right.
in 2006,
Mm-hmm.
it was I put it aside for other projects, and then when I came home, the cases were still happening. People were still getting killed by police, so I included more cases in the book. And so,
Mm-hmm.
first book.
Smart. Smart.
Yeah. And then of course I hollered at her. I got in contact with Nicole Bell over Facebook and let her know what I was doing to make sure, even though names were changed and it wasn't a straight recounting, but I was using, some of the elements of what happened to Sean and her. And so I wanted to make sure that she was cool with that, and she was. And I got a
Mm-hmm.
chance at the Sean Bell Summit at the Schaumburg in Harlem in 2016. And when the book came out, I gave her the first copy. And, God bless and dedicated it to the two of them, and everything's cool. So that was my first book in 2017. And I
Mm-hmm.
just finished my second book, which just came out a couple weeks ago. I have it here. This is
Okay.
my second book, The Bates Theory.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one is different. This one is nonfiction. And I wrote this for the men. I wrote this for us. So,
Okay. You want to talk about what the book is about real quick?
sure.
Something.
The title of it again is called The Bates Theory, and it deals with toxic mothers and their relationship with their sons, and how that affects our viewpoint of ourselves as men and how that affects our viewpoint of women and our treatment of women. And so that's what it's about.
Mm. All right, I'm gonna have to check that out.
And
Show them the book one more time.
yeah, it's called the Bates Theory. Um, right now I'm still doing the pre-orders because I'm sending out signed copies. So anybody that wants a copy, all you got to do is DM me, either here on my page, Brave Broadway, or on the page for the book, The Bates Theory. One word, just DM me, and we'll get your information and send you out a copy like that.
So, how many books have you written so far?
So that's my second one. So only 2 so far, but there's more coming. I
Yeah,
got
there
stuff.
you go. So you got 2 books.
Yeah.
So are you planning on taking the books and turning into like a mini doc or like a little short film or something like that down the line, maybe?
Well, the first book, Flame of Retribution, I actually envisioned as a movie first. So I actually wrote the screenplay for that already. And so I'm still looking for people to be interested in it, or producers for that movie, because it's a big movie. It's really not something I could shoot myself.
Right.
It's very involved. There's police, there's explosions, there's chases and stuff like that. So it's not the kind of thing that I could take a camera and do on my own. So I'm still looking for the right contact to be able to produce that movie the way it needs to be done. But yeah, definitely I envision that as a movie for sure, or even a series. There's a series are bigger than movies now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Netflix and other streaming services are, of course, taking over, and so I envision that as a series, definitely.
Yeah, also documentaries are taking over too.
Yeah, no
You
doubt.
know, yeah, like the you get more like detailed information from documentaries sometimes. Opposed to a movie, sometimes you got to add and you got to subtract this to make the film
Yeah,
look a little better than what's supposed to be. You know?
yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah. So what you got going on that people don't know about right now?
Well, I'm in addition to the book being out and stuff, I'm also developing a play. Writing my first play. The funny thing is, I directed a play for the first time in 2016. The name of the play is called The Diary of a Mother, written by Hope Hollingsworth Coaxum, a wonderful writer and a good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
She was son in Iraq, and she wrote a movie. She wrote a play about 8 mothers who have lost their children in various ways. And so she asked me to direct. So we did that. And then we revived it in 2019. And we were set to start traveling right before COVID hit. We
Right.
was a spot in Mississippi and do some other things. So we're still working on how to bring that to people online. And then I started developing my own play. I'm going to be doing that. And if we can get it online, that'll be my first time directing a play of my own that I wrote. So I'm working on that. I've got a horror movie in the works that I'm writing. And then the book Flame of Retribution, it's a 3-part series. So the second part of the series I already started writing. So I got a lot of projects open. So a lot of stuff coming to people that, that are fans of mine. I got to say, thank you to everybody that has already supported my writing. A lot of people have, and a lot of people are already fans of me, and I really appreciate that, man, because writing is a very personal thing. You have an idea, and you don't know if people are gonna understand it. You don't know if people are gonna feel it, but you put yourself out there, just like an artist who wants to write a song or play an instrument or anything like that. Your art is very personal, and so when you write something, and then you have people actually enjoy it and come back to you and be like, "Yo, I was feeling that," or I like me. That's one of the greatest feelings in the world, and so
Yeah, it is.
I got to really say thank you to all of those people that have supported me so far and continue to support me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Also, like that's what I was talking about. Being that you started as a childhood actor, and you've been on different shows and stuff like that. Being that you probably don't have a desire to do that again, you have that knowledge and that experience and that know-how from being on sets and stuff like that, on
Yeah.
just being behind the scenes now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And putting your
And
own work out there.
I coach too, acting coach, and I have some clients.
There you go.
For people that's trying to break into the business or people that just want to sharpen up certain things. So that's another avenue that I took. Just like you said, you know, you have the skills, you have the experience. Even if you're not doing it right now, you can
Right.
still help a generation of people coming up that want to do it, and you know, share with them what you know.
Yeah. Because once you're in entertainment, it's always a lane you can get into to stay relevant some type of way.
No doubt.
You know, like actors, you know, you might not see an actor for a few years, and now they're doing plays. You know, you might
Yeah.
a musician or even a rapper or singer. They might not make a song for like 5 years, and then next you know, they come out with something, and they back in. You know what I'm saying? There's always, once you're in entertainment, you always can find a way to make something happen.
Yeah. That's right.
You know? Yeah. So that book
Definitely.
is it on? You can find it where you can find that again.
Well, right now I'm doing all of the sales personally. So anybody, like I said, anybody that wants it could just DM me here on my page, or they can DM the Bates Theory page, and then we'll get in contact with you, get your info, and get one out to you. You know, later soon it'll be on Amazon. It'll be available for that and available for Audible too. As you know, as the months go on, but as for right now, I'm just having people contact me, and I'll send it directly to them also, so I could sign it. You know what I mean? So, you
Right,
know,
right, right.
when it comes straight from Amazon, you can't get signed copies because they put
Mm.
them out. But yeah, so that's the way to do it. Really direct.
All right. So look, I want to thank you for coming to the show, man.
Now,
Um,
anytime,
I
man.
want y'all to go cop that book. What's the name of the book again?
It's called The Bates Theory: A Guide to Overcoming Toxic Mothers and Male Codependency.
There you go. I
Yeah.
want y'all to go cop that book. You know, follow my man. Which your Instagram is what again?
So my Instagram is Brave Broadway, one word, Brave Broadway, and the Instagram for the book is The Bates Theory, one word, on IG as well. Same on
All
Facebook.
right. There you go. So y'all
Yeah.
want y'all to support the brother. You know, this guy is a great writer, and then he got a lot of stories that's gonna come out in the future. And Amir, it's great talking to you again, brother.
Nah, Don Vito, man, it's good to see you again too, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull you back in on another show in a little bit. You know, we're gonna keep it
No
going. You
doubt, man.
know,
Anytime,
see
man.
everybody see your progress as you're moving and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
All day long. I'm gonna give you a call in a few. I want to talk to you about something.
All right, no doubt.
All right.
All right, man. Be
Thanks
safe,
for
man.
coming to the show again, brother.
No doubt, man. Thanks for having me.
Peace.
All right, man. One.
All right. Good to see you.